Well, I hope everyone's enjoyed this, and I look forward to giving Earnest Evans a try. Like I said, we are looking to do about once a month, but you know, this is a passion project. Real life gets in the way. We've all got families, so it's a case of we will try to stick to a month, but I would rather have all of us be together to record, and if that means having to delay because of holidays or sicknesses, that's my preference. With
Many months later.
So it's been a while, lads, hasn't it?
Has been
Just
a
a
while.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we should all shake hands and then introduce ourselves again. It's been a farewell. So, hello. We'll have little
Hello.
stickers. Hello, my name is Sean.
Hi. So, welcome to episode 2 of the Mega CD Appreciation Society. That's our name, isn't it? It's been so long, I can't even remember what we're called.
It certainly is.
Yes. It certainly is. Yes, it's all good.
We had the perfect opportunity to change it there.
I think
A
we changed
rebrand.
it in the first episode, didn't we? We called it something else the whole way through. I had to go back and redo the logos.
Oh, no, we don't want to do that.
Not
Right.
again, no.
So, for those who don't know, but you're on my channel, I am John Bundy, and I'm the one who suggested this madness to everyone else. So, I'm the one to blame. Blame me for this. And then to my left, your right, we have Martin.
Hello
Introduce
again.
yourself.
Yeah. We've been looking forward to this one because it's like I was looking up the other day because I was trying to find some stuff I'd bought months ago, and I couldn't believe it was September. I think it was September when we did the last video. Just where the time's gone, I don't know. I mean, and even like Sean said before we started recording, was like Christmas seems like ages ago as well now, which is just it's frightening. It's frightening how quickly the time goes. But looking forward to. Well, I'm not really looking forward to this one because I have my say on this game a bit later. But I'm looking forward to find out what you guys think. That's the main thing.
Mhm. Okay, and below me we have another Martin.
Yes, the other Martin. Yeah, so I'm Retro Martin, as you may have heard in the last episode, those many months ago, however it was. Obviously, it has been quite a while, but we obviously just put a lot of time into playing Earnest Evans, clearly. And we're not going to be blaming me for this, although we are.
We'll get onto that in a moment. And then, last but by no means least, down diagonally,
Yeah,
Sean.
I feel Martin. I should shoulder some of the blame. It's been a mad few months for me personally. So I think we could have recorded this in December, but it was a bit manic for me. But anyway, yeah, it's been it's given me a chance to find an hour and a half to play the game. It was only been 4 months, so I managed to free up an hour and a half.
You haven't had 4.5 months to play the game, though, have you?
Well, no. I'll tell you what, John. I've got to say a massive thank you to you because you this is like a shameless plug, but John hooked me up. So with some games because I obviously I shared my collection in the last video. I've got a very very small collection of Mega CD games, but obviously as I play games, they're so expensive. As I play games during this series, if I really like a game, I won't be picking this game up, but I will buy a game if I really like it. So, but a little teaser for you guys there. But yes, so massive thanks, John, for sorting me out of a few games. So really appreciate it, and it worked flawlessly.
Excellent.
So it was all good.
I just burned some CDs and sent them in the post. So I didn't do anything that special. I did test them before I sent them, but to make sure they
They
work on my
worked
console.
well. That I've tried 6 of them. I think you did 8 or 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 of them have worked, and it just takes you right back, doesn't it? Playing games when you put them back in for not playing for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it can be a start-up screen, or like the footage we tried to do on the screen just a minute ago, just Sonic with the Sega at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just that sound just takes you back, doesn't it? It's crazy. So
Sean's trying to rep his dealer there.
yeah, yeah. You got to cut me off. Got to cut me off, man. Got to cut me off. Yeah.
So, but okay, the reason why we have had such a long break is primarily because I also can't remember if the previous episode we explained how we pick our games that we play for each episode. But everyone here suggests a game. It goes onto a wheel. I spin the wheel, and then that game comes off the wheel, and then we do 3. Then we spin. There you go. In other words, once they all go, then everyone re-adds to the wheel. Okay, I picked a American game. Martin, Evesham Martin, and Sean picked PAL games, but Retro Martin picked an American game, which after I looked into, because I hadn't converted it before, looked into it, turns out that no one has managed to convert it before because there's extra region protection on it that block, so if you do my usual methods, it doesn't work. So it's, okay, actually no, I said an American game. It was released on the Genesis, of the American Mega Drive in America, but for the Mega CD, it was a Japanese exclusive. So, which also meant that the game was in Japanese, wasn't it? So, thanks to a user by name of _GF64 on Twitter, who he's been absolutely fantastic. Any game that I struggle with getting converted, I cross his palm with silver, and then he just gets it done. He's amazing. So he got the region lock taken care of, but then because the cutscenes are all WAV files, I then proceeded to spend some time doing a very dubious dub of the game. Yes, I then spent time dubbing the game, redubbing the game. Yes, me. All the characters, me. And I'm sure that when we get to talking about the game itself...
You make a very cute 14-year-old, John.
Oh, thank you. 14-year-old girl. I clarify that.
Also, John, just to interrupt there, you did sound like a bit... Martin was touching on a drug dealer. You did sound a bit like I tapped up my guy and he sorted me out with...
Well, he's my Mega CD.
I didn't realise we were doing Crime Patrol this month.
I was going to say, it's like 50% of the stream apparently are now drug addicts. So, it's...
Yeah, so, but that is the reason for the delay, is that initially I just couldn't get the game to boot on a PAL console. And really, we've said like, oh, worst case is always emulation, but the idea is that we actually want to play these on our consoles because then you get the proper feeling. But the Mega Drive pad, you've got it actually, on either your CRT or your TV. You're not playing it from your computer or like emulation console. It's just you're having like a pure, like you're hearing the spinning of the disc, and even have to deal with potentially terrible load times. But it's that authentic feel that I think we were trying to go for. Well, at least for me personally. So I spent time trying to do the work myself to get it to boot. Failed. Found someone who could do it. Dubbing it, and then by December the game was good to go, but we're getting close to Christmas, and as everyone knows, when we get close to Christmas, plans just kind of just get thrown out, don't they? And we all agree that we'll wait for all 4 of us to be free, and also to have time to play the game before the episode. So, and here we are, and I hope the wait was worth it. But, so unless there's anything anyone wants to add to that, we can move into our next section.
Well, I just want to add thank you so much, John, because you certainly as well gave me. I mean, I don't know whether that was what you were aiming for, but you certainly gave me a reason to play this game. So but thank you for your hard work, and to the guy that as well, and hopefully you did cross his palm with plenty of silver, as you said.
he had like any game that I've struggled with, he's pretty much resolved. As in regards to booting, there's still things like other like compatibility issues, not actually getting the game to boot, but where there are issues like Pop for Mail, he had crack at with getting the because there's screen tearing during the cutscene where like the background won't look correct. He's tried that, and I got Retro Martin to test it out, and it's just it then slows down the whole cutscene. So it's actually better to play with the screen tearing. There might be someone else who might have a crack at it as well, potentially. But anyway, but in regards to like region locks, and he even is getting a game so that I can do a traditional translation, as in change the text. So I don't know when that will be done, but that might. I'm not suggesting we put it onto this list, but if that is another thing that I'm getting him to help with, because there are other Japanese games that aren't you can't just redub, but have to actually deal with text. I would love for us to be able to experience, but that is,
I feel the amount of discs I wasted on Popful Mail should sort of count as my apology for how long we've had to wait.
true. But if it resulted in getting like a perfect copy, I feel like it was worth it. But we haven't. So yeah.
I'm just your playtesting slave. That's what it is. That's the only reason I'm here.
Well, I mean, yes, you have like you seem to have a stack of CDs and several consoles to test it on, whereas I've only got the Mark II. Cool. Okay, so in that case then, who would like to go first with what pickups we've had since the last episode for the Mega CD?
Should let Martin go, I think, because he's got so much. Well, that's what he said. He might have been pulling our leg. He might only have one.
Oh, no. I'm definitely not pulling anyone's leg. I'll save the best for last because it's the big one. But I've actually picked up loads of stuff. So hopefully the wife can't hear. So we'll start off. Obviously, I've actually been playing the Luna games quite a bit recently on the Mega CD. So I kind of picked up a nice trio of Saturn Luna games, if you can see that. So
not Mega CD, but because it's Luna, we'll allow it.
Yeah, exactly. So also, I feel that this should count because one of the games was originally going to be a Mega CD game, but went to the Mega Drive, and that is the Fantasy Star 1 to 4 music collection on CD.
Nice.
Ooh.
Pick that up from Amazon Japan.
You could play it on the Mega CD.
I can play on a Mega CD. I picked up some other stuff as well for the Mega Drive, like the Shinobi collection and the Herzog's collection as well, but those are Mega Drives, so, whatever. One thing that you guys do know about was this handy little book which came out last year.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So, very useful because it's got all the stuff like the unreleased games, because that obviously led you to finding a couple more that you'd not done, which I'm sure you will talk about when it's your turn. And then moving on to actual Mega CD, I think these came from your... Well, one has definitely come from your PAL conversion, and that's Game New Kanzame Volume 1 and 2 together.
It's not my conversion because the person who did it, he used the same method I do, but it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. And another one I got, which is untranslated, but it's side-scrolling run and gun shoot 'em up or whatever, is the Japanese exclusive Devastator, which is based on an anime. I've played it through a few times when I got it. It's actually really good fun. So hopefully I'll get that one sorted and ripped, and we might be able to do that in a future episode.
That one does sound interesting. That does sound interesting.
It's good. The cutscenes are in all Japanese audio because the anime itself was never translated. So it only ever came out on Laserdisc. So, but you can follow the story. You can follow the story quite easily. Anyway.
You've heard his repertoire of voices. This man is a shapeshifter when it comes to.
Well, you say that, but we'll get onto something about that later on, won't we, John? So
yeah.
And then the crown jewel of my pickups, and this is the final one. There's 2X.
Very nice.
Finally,
you now play the 32X thing.
Yeah, had to rob a bank for it. But... so yeah, that's some of what I've picked up that's relevant since we last spoke. So
yes, cool. And now, so Sean, you said you don't have any.
Well, I don't have Mega CD stuff. I've got plenty of other stuff, but yeah, it's not Sega, so don't worry, it's fine.
Okay.
I'll save it for another day. It's all good.
Okay, Martin.
Yeah. So I think I'm sure there was something, Martin, that you got around or after our last video. Very soon after, there was something else you got because I was talking to you about, and then I think I quipped at you and said, "Oh, did you go and win that? Did you or something like that?" I don't know if it was something that I was going for, but so I was after a copy of of this World Cup USA '94.
Hmm.
And someone beat me to it on eBay, and I was just like, oh, I'm not paying the extraordinary amount of the one that was on there as well. So I just left it. I knew that CEX had a couple in stock. I'm a little bit reluctant to order Mega CD games from CEX due to that terminology of the lottery, because you just but I didn't bother with those. And then I thought one night I had a couple of beers and thought, yeah, I'll buy one, but
Yeah.
they'd all gone. So I'd waited another 2 or 3 weeks, and then I got a notification that one came in stock, which was at Hereford, oddly enough, around not far from where my office is. But I thought I'll just order it online anyway, and it came through. And surprisingly enough, it's all complete, and it's even got the poster as well, the original poster.
Oh man, that's
Comes with it.
amazing. Has that got the fixtures on one side?
Yeah, yeah, and
Oh, has
and
it?
for, yeah, and no one's and best of all, no one's filled it in.
Oh, that's immense.
So if you can see the part of it, it goes out a bit bigger than that. But
Oh, that's
so as
so
well,
Very
cool.
nice.
get that. The disc was in good quality. The box just showed its age. There's no cracks in it. And I've completely forgot that the Scorpions song "No Pain, No Gain" was featured.
I was
in
about
this
to ask
as
if
well.
that was the one with the Scorpions song in it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's not an expensive game, but some people are asking quite a bit of money for it now. I mean, I don't mean like 80 quid or anything, but I have noticed it going up. And but it was one that was, again, I had this many years ago when it came out, so it was one that was missing off my list. The next one was, I think we were discussing this before, but it's Sherlock Holmes 2 or Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective 2. This one didn't have a manual, but it actually came with the even harder to get original newspaper that comes with it.
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah.
So,
Wow.
but I've never played these games, but I've been doing a bit of research into them, and I've heard for FMV games they are actually a very good story. They're not, forget Night Trap, Sewer Shark, all those type of ones. It's actually a very good game. So it's on my list to go through the original and this one.
You can always throw it onto the wheel if you want.
Yeah, there's a lot of clicking and reading in them, but they are pretty
this
good
is
from the little I've
precisely
played.
it. Yeah, I'm not into that sort of thing, so I'm really going to have to kind of just put everything else aside to focus specifically on that. The next
Would it
one we
help if
discussed
John
before.
dubbed it for you?
What's that, Sean?
Would it help it if John dubbed it for you, even though it is in English?
That would help actually. Yes.
I am Sherlock Holmes, consulting Mega CD converter.
What's the impression, John? I've thrown you under the bus here. What is? Give us a Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
Props as well.
Good evening. I am Sherlock Holmes, consulting detective.
It makes me want to play it.
That was just completely row.
Like I say, I thought it was Sherlock Holmes, not Ernest Evans.
Well, there's certain actors where they always just do their own voice and they just play themselves. So
John Bundy is the Nick Cage of the Mega CD Appreciation
Yeah.
Society.
Loves it. Sorry, mine.
That's all right. No, that's all right. The other one we mentioned, well, which I hadn't played it, but I've been after it, was BC Racers.
Mhm.
I don't like it. I don't know. Again, it's not in the disc is. I forget what there was a bit of a story behind this. I think I moaned to the guy that the disc was pretty scratched. I mean, you can't really see it that much on there, but it works fine. And I messaged him and said, look, I don't think you were being quite so honest about it. So there was some other game he had, and I said, look, it is what it is, blah, blah. He came back and gave me a huge discount of his other game. I forget what it was for now. He was so respectful over it, and stuff. I couldn't have asked for more. So that was good. And then the last one, which, as I mentioned this before, it's crap, but it's double switch. I finally got it. So, but it was just because something I'd always wanted to get, and I just got it, and I've turned it on to make sure it works. Again, those apart from the Sherlock Holmes one, they're all complete. And then yeah, there's I don't know. I had to look back from my purchase history up to September to find out what Mega CD games I got, and those are the only ones I got. And there's potential. I might be getting Mortal Kombat, but again, I've burnt a copy of that already, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything for that with that game, other than the intro, the original TV advert that's at the beginning of it. Because to be fair, I don't think that thing's worth 80 quid or 100 quid. I just think maybe 40 quid for what it is. But
just wait until you get to the Shang Tsung fight and you have to load every.
Oh god! I heard about that.
Yes, yeah. So that is a potential possibility. So, but other than that, no, it's just those four. And out of all of them, I think my favourite one is the football one.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
BC races is just, my goodness, the rubber banding on that thing's just horrendous. But anyway,
would it help if I told you it's in the Chuck Rock universe? Would that make it better?
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know why they didn't name it something like that. Talk about confusing for people. You know, it's but it's just another one of those link.
A wheel.
Huh?
That's Sean's pick on the wheel.
No, I put it on there because I know it's bad. So yeah, don't worry.
It's not awful, but it's just some it's the rubber banding that gets me. So but like Martin just mentioned, you know, it is in the Chuck. It is Chuck Rock based, Chuck Rock characters, but it's it's just another game of a line of games by Core Design on the Mega CD. Anyway,
you'll cover soon enough.
Yes.
Cool.
In about 500 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. But okay, my turn. So I have not got much Mega CD this month, but the first one is I ordered this ages ago, but due to if I order something from America, if I remember that I don't want to pay stupid amount of delivery that I get sent because my dad lives in Mexico, but he has a PO box in America. So sorry, in the United States. So I can get things posted there. So I picked up this. So this is Sonic the Hedgehog. So this is a homebrew game. I say game. It's more of a music album, but it has got a like interface to it to get to all the songs. It has like pictures, pixelated like artwork as well for like different Sonic games. And Sean, I believe did I send you that one?
Yes, you did. Funny enough, that was right at the back. As soon as you said that, I forgot that was one of the games I didn't put on because I'd never heard of it. So yes, I'll be intrigued to see that. Yeah,
it's I think it's like I say, it is not a game in the traditional sense. This is purely you're getting it for the music because you just put it into a CD player and just play it that way, skipping track one. But I think like the effects at the beginning, I think show off what the Mega CD could do really well. But also, I think it's nice having that artwork, and it's just getting something new for it as well. And so, sorry, I'm taking apologies if that came up loud on the mic, but see, because then that is the disc, and I don't know if there's a manual. I don't think it's a manual. I think it's just it's just card with your courage is greater than what is perceived. Circumstance is only a state of your actuality. Waiting is a game of doubt. Don't play yourself. Keep running through thoughts and mind your opportunity. So, but yeah, there's 24 different tracks on here. So there are 2 songs per picture. So Sean, when you try it out, you need to go back into pictures to hear the second track.
Right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if anyone would like to see what this is like, there are long plays from the creator on YouTube. So and also I showed it off because this will not boot on my Mega CD unless if I use like an EverDrive to change the BIOS. But I got sent the ISO, the image of the game by the creator when I bought this, and so I converted that to PAL, and then that works on my Mega CD. But yeah, but this
and got me to waste a CD to test it.
Well, this is like for me. This I wanted to support like homebrew Mega CD games, but also I thought this would be quite cool, like just to have as well because it's I think it's cool.
Pretty cool artwork. Disc looks good as well. So
Yeah, but definitely check it out, Sean, when you get a moment.
Yes.
So I don't know
will
if
do.
it'll ever appear on the wheel, but I thought it'd be cool for you to try. Now, next. These are two repros of my conversions. So you cannot buy these in like from CEX or anything because they were never released. This is from a guy on Etsy. And the first one is Rise of the Dragon. So this is a Mega CD conversion of a DOS game, I believe, but it's a kind of point and click cyberpunk style adventure game. So it's not Snatcher. It's not like where you've just got a list of dialogue and you go to different screens. You've actually got a like mouse icon, and I believe from memory you can use the Mega Drive mouse with this game from memory. So and then you just go along, and I think it's pretty cool. The only thing that I feel lets it down is that they have arcade levels, which is where you suddenly it goes from being this point and click, like, it's first person, like screen of everything, to suddenly a side scroll, like shooter platformer, and it's not definitely not the same artwork. It feels like they had to like add something in to me. This will end up on the wheel, I guarantee it. But I enjoyed it because I played it through via emulation several years ago. But this was after doing the two Luna games. This is the first one I converted after that. But sadly, though, the repro guy doesn't make manuals. But I think it's like great presentation. Like I love like the fact that it's got like the spines and everything as well. I
Pretty
feel
good.
like it feels so authentic to what the Mega CD.
Yeah, that's
is.
nice.
And then the other one is Luna Eternal Blue, which somebody is currently playing before me. So, and
Almost finished it.
You finished it now.
No, I've got maybe a couple of hours left, and then I'll be done.
But yeah, I think I probably said in the previous episode, this is the game that set me down the rabbit hole of doing all these conversions. This is what kicked it off because repro companies had already been doing Luna, the first game, Luna Silver Star. This is the sequel, but it seemed like until I found this guy, no one was actually doing this game. The reason being is that you can't. The music, the audio is not CD track files. It's actually built into the game. So if you're trying to sort out the way it's to try and get everything to sync up correctly with the cutscenes, it's a lot harder to do. But either way, I found someone who can sort it. Not the guy that I was talking about earlier on, someone different. And this is my conversion on a CD. This is my work printed. Well, okay, so's that. But these are my works. So it's just cool just to have these.
Nice.
And those are my pickups for since our last episode.
I never realised that I've got the Mega Drive mouse, and on the back I've never noticed that it says Mega CD.
Yeah.
At the top there. Never noticed.
Because if you play games like Syndicate, that supports it as well. And also
I've just been playing Cannon Fodder.
Monkey Island supports it as well, yeah.
Secret Monkey, yeah.
I've only played Cannon Fodder with it. But
How much do those mice go for without me looking? Because you've hurt my interest now.
I actually
Get a Japanese one.
How
They're
much?
really cheaper.
Yeah, I got that one I got about 5 years ago, and I got a real deal on it because the person literally, they didn't advertise it very well at all. I actually got that for 35 quid. They're in, I think, yeah, they're in the hundreds now, which is ridiculous because to be fair, and also I will say though, it's a good mouse, really responsive.
Mm-hmm.
I did a long time ago when I got it, probably about 4 years. I've still got the footage. I probably will put it up at some point, but I recorded me playing it with a joypad, Cannon Fodder, and then with the mouse, and it's so much. It's just like playing it on the Amiga back in the day. So yeah, I think they're probably between. I want to say 80 to 110.
I saw
like
that.
But
you just hurt my interest thinking, oh, I can play Cannon Fodder. I've got Cannon Fodder and use it with a mouse.
Yeah,
but
like you said, get the foreign ones. Also, there is a
Japanese
third-party
ones tend to go for half.
Yeah,
half that,
there is a third-party one as well. By is it not Matt? No, who are the guys that used? Oh, Rose. Rose used to make all the wireless controllers. They do a mouse as well, and I think you can pick those up for like 15 quid. They're not very good though, from what I hear. But yeah, the mouse is definitely the way to play Cannon Fodder on the Mega Drive for sure.
If you get the Japanese one though, it will have blue buttons rather than red buttons.
Yes, that's correct.
If that matters to you and you want the red of that of our PAL, style.
Well, you could always
One thing I
paint
love
them.
with this. The one thing I
No,
absolutely
I'm serious.
love with
Like,
this
you
is
could probably
that,
just paint them.
There's,
So
there's
it's
actually
also
one here
came-
on eBay with a map with an official Sega mouse pad. It's £170.67. That's the
Which
one,
is
yeah.
Yeah, it comes with a really. It's like literally it was fully, but I wasn't expecting it to turn up at all. It's got the instructions, everything. Yeah, it was like 35 quid. The postage was probably an
Madness.
extra £7.
As a
But
steal.
yeah, the guy just put mouse on there, and it was like.
So
really
we've got
listed.
drug dealers and we've got thieves, basically.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you how I found it. There used to be a guy called Jimmy Retro. Does anyone remember Jimmy Retro?
I think that was before my time.
Okay, so Jimmy Retro, he put up, and he was a lovely guy, but he's disappeared. Oh, I can't get that back in. I'm just going to rip it. He made a bit of software that, like, you could look. It would alert you when stuff came up on eBay,
Okay.
and effectively you could put in a list of stuff that you were looking for. I put that in, and it was like Sega mouse, and it came up, and it had been up for 4 minutes, and yeah, I got it for like 35 quid. Buy it now. So, and it was like literally, it was just a mouse. And it was like it had the instructions behind it, but it didn't have the box in the picture. And it turned up, and it was I was well happy. I couldn't believe it. It's one of those right place, right times. So I've got Jimmy Retro to thank for that because it was his software, little search engine thing that worked for me, and it sort of pinged up. So
Nice.
yeah, right place, right time.
Nice. But yeah, but I'd
Sorry, John.
say if you can get the mouse, it's worth it for those style games. Cool. Okay, great. That's our pickup. So let's move on. So has anyone, I know one of you has, besides the game we're going to be talking about, has anyone played any Mega CDs since our last episode?
Sadly not. No. I think everyone else seems to have.
Okay, so do you want to go first, Martin Evesham game?
Yeah, I mentioned this. I don't know if I mentioned it once we stopped recording or beforehand. So I've obviously been playing a lot more Mega CD since I got my OSSC Pro, and which just as I said before, it makes things just so much better. I mean, even this video here is not giving you an idea of how sharp that picture is. I mean, so I've been testing the Mega CD as well on my CRT TV and stuff. But for Mega CD games, I don't think I ever uploaded it. But but what it was this is going to so I've been playing quite a bit of Eternal Champions Challenge from the Dark Side, or Challenge from the Dark Side, whatever it is. And I don't, for those people that don't know that watch this, I imagine you guys know, you can play as an owl and a chicken in it.
Yep.
So what I did, I spoke to another YouTuber, Feed Me Chicken, and said to him I sent him a picture, I think, of that. I said, I'm going to upload a video and say that it's Game Zone Bird Room versus Feed. So I've been playing. I've done some video recordings ages ago and just didn't bother uploading it. And I've done another one the other day, and I think I might have deleted it intentionally because I've just been testing it out. But I will be doing that. So I've been playing as the chicken in it, and it's. I mean, I know there's other games out there, like fighting games, that have got kind of like crossovers and special guests and things like that. But in regards to Eternal Champions, I mean, the best way to play that is on the Mega CD. So I've been playing that game. I've been playing a bit more of Afterburner 3 again. And what was the other one I was playing? Ernest Evans. Just, to be fair. And that has been on and off since I finally burnt it about, a week, 2 weeks ago, I think. But as for other stuff, there was something else. And I mentioned this to you guys in the group the other day, which I'd never heard of, which isn't a game. It's a
Flux.
Flux. I had no idea this existed, but I saw it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I downloaded the ISO, and is it called an actualizer? I think is what they call it, or something. No, that's not right. A visualizer.
That was it.
And as I mentioned to you guys, and you saw yourself, John, that they actually used it. I think it was 2003, was it Glastonbury Festival. They actually used a Mega CD to put the images on the back with this thing. And I mean, it is for Mega Drive, but the box is a Mega Drive box with a cartridge. But it says Mega CD on it, Sega Mega CD on it, and it was an official PAL only release. So I have been tempted to buy one, Just to say, no motherfucker's got one of these, pardon my French, not that I know of anyway. But I have held back because I've burnt the CD and I've tried it out. You're not going to get any more than what it is. It's just going to give up different visualizations on the screen. I've tried capturing it, and even with the OSSC Pro, it doesn't particularly like it because it's something keeps changing in it. Whereas on the old OSSCs, if a screen resolution changed on the fly, which it does on a lot of CD-based systems, the new OSSC Pro doesn't stop the image or throw up a little blue box in the top left-hand corner. But this one, it doesn't do the little blue box with the OSSC Pro. With Flux, it kind of, the screen pauses for a second or just blanks out for a very brief second. So I've got some footage of it and I'm going to upload it using HWA featuring Sonic the Hedgehog Supersonic, because that is not copyrighted. So, but that was the only other thing I've been. Sorry?
It'd be good to see that. So.
Yeah, it's just a visualizer, but just think back to, I don't know if any of you guys, the only one I can think of system that did this, the Sega Saturn used to have the jet or the spaceship moving when you played the music and the two squares moving. But I think the only one machine that ever had like a visualizer was the Xbox 360. So if you're familiar with that, when you used to put a CD in, it's basically this. It's very similar, but I think Flux nails it because it's just so well. So it's so 90s as well. When it starts throwing the words up on the screen, these random words. So yeah,
I'm sure
so
the original, PlayStation had one as well, but you had to push a button while you were on the CD player for the PlayStation to get it. Because I used to play the odd audio CD on the PlayStation because I didn't have my own stereo back then. I'm sure it had one.
That I do vaguely remember something that PlayStation had. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. I can't really remember. I'm sure you're right though. But the Flux was the only other thing that I've been messing around with. Can hardly call it playing. You just stick a CD in, change a couple of settings to what you randomly want. I guess the booklet would explain that, and then just play your CD. That's it.
Just to clarify that, so when you buy Flux, you get a Mega Drive cartridge, and then you provide a music CD of your choice. That is correct. What it does, just in case people want to.
So if you want a visualizer up while John Bundy is reciting Earnest Evans scripts, then you can.
But I think I can't confirm this, but I believe that you can plug into your audio cables or external sound system into your Mega CD, so or something like that. I think that wouldn't work, would it? Because it's output only, it's not input. You'll just fry the bloody thing you're doing. No, there was something you can use an external thing for it, but So that was the other thing I was.
Might be like in Japan they had they used the Mega CDs as like a karaoke thing, so there was that karaoke kind of side thing.
I've just remembered it is the karaoke thing. I think it is,
So theoretically it would probably work with the Wonder Mega and the Pioneer Laser Active then, because they had built-in karaoke units.
Or maybe not, because I don't think that those ones like the Wonder Mega would take a PAL cartridge. Would it? Oh, anyway,
well, it depends on whether you mod it, but you're probably right.
Yeah. So so that was, I can hardly say I was playing that. I was just more messing around. That's all you can do. So, so that's all the Mega CD stuff I've been playing this month. At least that I can record off the top of my head.
With regards to Tell Champions, so just to throw it out there, so it was released in PAL. There is someone on the internet who did a hack of the American version that made all the characters unlocked from the very beginning and also reduced the difficulty down. So it wasn't if you're playing single player, it wasn't as more difficult. I saw what they did, like the changes between the original American and his hack, and then put those into the PAL game and put that up on archive. So in other words, if people want to try it, yes, you can buy a Tell Champions PAL with a proper box, but if you struggle with the game or want to see other characters, you can download a hack that includes all that already and then just play that. So this is not the American versions changed where you keep all the PAL optimization is what I'm trying to say. This isn't an American game made to work with the PAL console. This is a hack of the PAL game is what I've done. So for those interested. Okay, so Martin, what have you been playing? You already said about something else later on, but
I've actually been, as you probably know, I've been playing quite a fair few because I put out those 2 videos that were just shocker full of Mega CD games. So I was just going through loads of different ones, like the Japanese exclusives and stuff like that. Like I wasn't playing them in depth or anything like that, but just enough to get a feel for the game and record a little bit of footage. But obviously, I've been playing my new repros. So Devastator, I was playing last week when I got it for a good couple of hours, and that was pretty good fun. I finished Luna the Silver Star earlier this month. I think that took me about 21 hours to complete in total. I've almost finished Lunar Eternal Blue. I've been at that since a couple of weeks ago, I think now. And I'm practically at the end of that, so I should have that finished in the next couple of days. What else have I been playing? Far too much. I have been playing your Eternal Champions hack because I really struggle with that game. And even with the AI hack, I'm awful at it. But it is really useful because it actually makes it a bit more playable for me, which is quite useful. Other than that, probably not much Mega CD wise, just like obviously little bits from every game. Obviously, I've been testing out most of your conversions on the Model 1 and the Model 2 just to confirm that they work. So, yeah, that's pretty much it with me.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And Sean?
Yeah, I played Earnest Evans.
And Earnest Evans.
Yeah, it's been a bit mental since the last recording, so I've literally if I wanted to, I wouldn't have found time. But yeah, I do have some games that especially the ones that you kindly sent me. But I do have some on my list that I would like to get. So I've actually just put a post up on my channel today saying I'm going to be stepping back from YouTube for a little while. Mm-hmm. But it's purely just for the fact that when I get a chance, I don't want to have to feel the guilt of having to record stuff to put up. I just want to be able to play it. So I'm actually quite looking forward to getting into this Mega CD. So funnily enough, one of the games that I had looked at was Sherlock Holmes because I always remember there was a game on the Mega Drive, Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, yeah.
And that used to come with a watch and it came with an encyclopedia. And I always remembered the newspaper thing that came with the Sherlock Holmes thing. And it was really cool, like thinking, I could get something from the Mega CD that's like that. So, yeah, I do intend to play a lot more from this point. So, hopefully next time when we ask that question, I should have a few more bits and bobs. But, yeah, definitely got a lot more on the list to play and hopefully making a few purchases, which will be good. So, yeah.
I mean, if there are any of the like American or Japanese ones that, because it sounds like you probably want to buy PAL ones. If there are any that are just too expensive or others that will never release, let me know. I'll send you another lot because I just thought of ones that you might like. But, when you've had time to look through the library more, I think, I would like to play that, then...
Yes, I appreciate that. And like some of the games just flicking through here now, like, I'm looking forward to throwing BC Races on again because, I remember that at my friend's house. I touched on him in the last video. My friend Gary, who had everything, and it was like the one game that we obliterated, but it was so poor even back then. It was. I know what you mean about the rubber banding. It's that even back then it was like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, but no, I appreciate that. But there's a few games I want to add, and the cases just look so cool, don't they?
They do.
The actual cases. So
I mean, I just love this kind of style case. I mean, I prefer this over the long box.
Definitely, and also they're not as fragile. So I mean, like they'll fall off your shelf like they do probably.
Well, we do actually have a few long boxes in PAL, don't we? Stuff like Hook and Pugsy came in long boxes.
And
don't look right. Yeah, they just don't look. They just don't look right. Like the more compact nature of these ones just looks so much better on a shelf. So
agreed.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So okay, I mean, I'm not going to list all the games that I've because whenever I convert a game, I'll throw it into the console to test it and play a little bit, just to make sure. I'm not going to list all those, otherwise we'll be here forever. Otherwise, I did play and then, by some miracle, I don't know how, got through to the credits of Night Strikers, which is a Japanese-only Mega CD release, now available on PAL. I can't remember if I added that into the PAL, Sean, if I did that for you.
What was it, sorry?
Night Strikers.
No, I don't recall seeing that.
If it's not there, it is on the Mini 2 as well.
Okay.
because I think I completed it shortly before we did our first episode.
Oh, Night Striker. No, you're right. Is
Okay,
sorry,
I
it was-
thought I enjoyed it so much, I thought I'd include it. So
Yeah,
it's
okay, I'll give that a
it's
go.
a conversion of, like, maybe you remember, Martin, what the original, it's an arcade game, I think, originally, and then yeah, it's imagine something like Afterburner or
It's like the Mega
oh,
Drive Super Thunderblade,
yeah,
effectively,
yeah.
Okay.
like a super scaler game. Interesting fact, it's getting re-released soon.
Not the
They've
Mega
announced
CD
that they're
one.
re-releasing it along with another game that I can't think of off the top of my head, but yeah, they're calling it Night Strikers S, because I think that's what the Sega Saturn release that came afterwards was called.
But it's like I say, it's a sorry, was it sprite scale or super scale? The term has gone out of my head. Martin, what was it, the phrase you used for that type of game?
Oh yeah, super scaler, where you're basically
Super
going
scaler,
into the screen. So
Yeah, sorry,
or
super
away
scaler.
from
So
screen.
because I played like super scalers on like the Mega Drive or the Mega CD before, but it's something about it being like, a cyberpunk city. Like, I just really enjoyed like the artwork of the game. I just loved it. Like the atmosphere of it, and just I thought it was really cool. So that will eventually end up on the wheel as well. So I played it to so I said about testing games. I also record them to put up on my channel so people could be aware. And also, if somebody randomly thinks, "Oh, did this game get released?" No, but it's now available, then they'll stumble on it. So I went to record Night Strikers and ended up beating the game while I was just recording, just to show I made the conversion. So I didn't get through every single path. I just got through one of the paths because it has got like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's got the
It's
different
like Outrun; it branches out.
yeah. So it's got that. So you can do different paths through the game to see different levels. So I didn't go to that degree, but I got to the credits, so I was happy. So, and then other than that, that's the only game I like put proper time into. So otherwise, the other things I've been working on has been doing more conversions, but I won't go through all those. But something that I have started working on the last couple of days. I haven't started dubbing it yet, but it is the sequel to the game that this episode is about. Enet Futanabe. Futanabe, if that's the correct.
Futatabi.
Thank you. Yes, so I've started the work to do the dub. So I've been putting all the WAV files into Audacity and splitting off the voiceover from the background audio, so you still get like the musical effects and things, but then I just have to record my audio go over the top of that. So hopefully in the near future there will be a conversion of that one going up. That game is easily converted just to boot. It hasn't got the region protection as Evans did, but someone said on Reddit, because we were talking about it, that they actually did a hack of that game to make it a bit easier, because apparently, because this is more of a beat 'em up game compared to Earnest Evans, that they actually changed made the enemies, I think, less spongy with damage. So I was like, can you please recreate that, because and we'll turn that into like a cheat. So I want to fold that into my conversion, so to make it more playable, make it more approachable.
Yeah, the enemies are incredibly spongy in it. It takes quite a while to go through every stage.
Yep. So I'm hoping to get that done. If he said he should have had it done several days ago, he said, but he hasn't come back yet. So yeah, once that's been dubbed and hopefully get that patch, then get that released, and then hopefully, because funny enough, this trilogy of games was put up, I think, on Kickstarter to get a modern release, but it failed. So if you want to play, this is how you do it now. Anyway, I think that segues into our main topic. Yes. So, okay. So, do you want to introduce the game, Retro Martin, as it was your pick for the wheel?
Yeah, of course. So Earnest Evans was a follow-up to El Viento on the Mega Drive. Both of them came out in 1991. So Earnest Evans came out on the Mega CD first in Japan only. It was then converted a year later to the Genesis. Had all the animated cutscenes taken out of it. But effectively what it is a sort of side-scrolling action platformer set in the 1920s. yeah, it's that's pretty much what it is. It's got some nice animated cutscenes because Wolf Team are usually quite good for those. Obviously, as John said, he's dubbed them in some fashion, so you can at least know the story. But yeah, that is the.
Okay, right. So I'm just wondering if trying to stream the video from your computer is affecting your audio. So
It seems to be working okay, probably because it's had time to buffer.
okay, fair enough. Yeah. So that's the history of the game. This is made by Wolf Team, who actually seem to be very prolific with the Mega CD, which is nice to see that there was a developer like Game Arts that seemed to go. I don't know necessarily all in, but they really, by the looks of it, they did a lot of games for the console, which is always nice because sometimes people think of these add-ons as just like an afterthought, but when you get developers who seem to be making it primary for this, I think that's personally quite cool.
Yeah,
But,
I agree.
Mhm.
It's funny on such a niche console that someone actually put in worked out how to actually make a game for it. That because looking at the list, when I looked at the history of this game, sort of Wikipedia and sort of some of the Sega channels out there, so the developers actually done an awful lot of games for the Mega CD, an awful lot. So it was pretty impressive, to be honest. But yeah, I totally agree with what you were saying there, John.
So, what made you pick it, Martin?
It's a shame Wolf Team don't exist anymore. So I was
Oh,
saying Wolf exist anymore. They got folded into Namco back in 2003 or so.
Okay, so your audio definitely did break up then, so I've paused the video. So,
We
okay,
can always
well,
overlay it over it.
yeah.
Might be worth just cutting this little bit, and we can just put the video in afterwards. I'm sure one of us can sort that out.
People have seen the gameplay now, so that's probably, I think, that's mostly what it was. So people have seen what the gameplay style is like and what the visuals are like. So I think that will do. So, but sorry, you were saying that Wolf Team sadly does exist anymore. That's when it your audio.
Yeah, no, they got folded into Namco, and they sort of primarily make the Tales of games after that because they did. I mean, they did some work on Tales of Fantasia in 1995 with Namco, and then obviously I think around the time that the PlayStation 2 one started coming, they got folded into Namco itself, so they don't exist at all anymore. So.
No, because they also did the game that was on the Mega Drive Challenge over Christmas. Soul Feast.
Soul Feast, yeah.
Yes, yeah, they did Soul Feast. Obviously, the Earnest Evans trilogy. They did Cobra Command as well, which most people will probably have played because obviously it came with the Mega CD.
Together, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did. Yeah.
And they also did a couple of other Japanese exclusives, which are on the list to get done. But dubbing takes longer. So
I don't remember which game it was that Wolf Team did, but what I know it's on all of their games. But I just remember from back in the day that intro from when it goes, it says something like or it just goes Wolf Team like that or something. Yeah. It just says something
Game
like
creative staff.
Wolf That's Team. It. That's the one, and it's just stuck in my head ever since then. And I can't remember what game it was. I think it probably would have been Soul Feast. I think because that came with basically every Mega CD.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I think it's Soul Feast because a lot of them don't say Wolf Team. It just does the splash and leaves it at that. So
right. Well, it'll have to be that then. I'm gonna have to file it up when we finish this later, just so I can hear it again. Game creative staff, Wolf Team.
And that Fujinabe has that one as well, actually. So it's because I heard it yesterday. So
I mean, sorry, I just had to say that.
Yeah, that's okay. The game that we decided to play, and so who would like to go first with their thoughts? We've already had a few kind of snippets, but let's now it's time to get this off your chest. What you really feel about the game. So
I think it should be Retro Martin for the suggestion.
Well,
yeah, I'm happy to go. I don't mind going first. I know it's a bit of a bone of contention this one, but I actually really liked it. I don't know why. Like you can tell there's a lot of jankiness with the way he moves. and the way the gameplay is. But I kind of really liked the idea of it because it was something a bit unique. Did anyone ever play that later Flash game, Quap, where you played that like athlete and you had to use the Q, W, and OP keys to sort of move the muscles, and he sort of walked down and it was a very popular Flash game, but it sort of reminds me of that because of the way that all of his limbs are pixelated differently, so they're all separate sprites, and that's why he moves the way he does. And you've obviously got that quite good range of movement where you can crouch and crawl and you can climb and all this other stuff. And while it's obviously quite iffy in the way it actually controls, I like the fact that they tried something new and unique at the time with that sort of control. And it does lend itself to exploring a little bit because you can obviously crawl through some spaces that you don't need to go through to find some hidden items and stuff like that, or you can climb up walls or swim around. There's a couple of levels where you're swimming, including a boss. So yeah, I quite liked that sort of range of control. So yeah, for me, I actually really, really enjoyed it from a gameplay perspective.
I think personally, from the first time I'd actually played the game, the note I've got here is the movement. That's the first note I've got, and all I've got after it is Clay Fighters, because it reminded me of Clay Fighters, the way some of them walk, because all of his limbs are sort of like moving massively, sort of like over the top. But no, it was a pretty. I mean, following on a few of your points there, I mean, it was the levels. I don't think I properly explored a lot of the levels. I just sort of kept scrolling, sort of. But there looked like there was areas that you could get to, so I don't know how expansive the levels are. But I did have a quick look online after playing it a couple of nights ago, and apparently, yeah, there's some of the levels that are maps, and some of them look pretty big. So I don't know whether that's obviously the Mega CD, but it's the levels look pretty expansive. So yeah, I would agree with that. I quite like the idea there was a bit of variety of gameplay there. You didn't just have to stick to the typical sort of running to the right, although there was also a later level that I ended up walking to the left for quite a long time and then came back to the vehicle and sort of was it a vehicle? I can't remember what it was.
Was that the
anyway.
train one?
That's it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you come back to that. So I didn't get past that. So I think that was only the second one, second part of it. But anyway,
that was like the third or fourth, I think.
Oh, maybe it was okay. I know I didn't get past like the third, especially. So yeah. But yeah, I'd agree with that. It was the actual gameplay itself was pretty enjoyable. I think I really, really gotten into it. But if I played it longer, but yeah, maybe I'll go back to it.
Martin.
First word that came to mind for this game when I started playing it is that what I thought of was they're what you call marionettes. They're the dolls on strings. And when Martin mentioned the was it GOP you called it or something? What was it called? Quap. Well, this game reminded me of, even though it's a newer game, is a game that's on. I think it's on PS4, Xbox, Switch. It's called Manual Samuel, and you have to use. It's again the legs are all over the place, and you have to press certain buttons to make him walk. And that's what this reminded me of. Now, the funny thing is, I remember back when I was in in year 7 or whatever, it was in school during when we had magazines like Sega Power. Sega Force was the one that I used to buy, and I remember seeing this being featured in that magazine, and I just remember thinking, "Oh man, this game looks awesome!" Everything about it was just, "Oh, I can't wait to play this one day." And then, 3 decades later, almost 4 decades, I play it. Now, if it wasn't for your work, John, I would have taken it out of the Mega CD now and said, "This is what I think of it," and gone and snapped it. Okay, but I've only given it a chance because of your efforts. Now I've managed to play not even up to the end of the first level. I've got to give credit to the soundtrack so far. What I've heard on it, it is absolutely brilliant, and I haven't heard any further than the first level. You guys, I think John and Martin, you'd said that there's a level skip code or level select or something. So I will definitely use that to check out the other levels and the soundtrack. But the soundtrack's fantastic. But it's the jankiness of the controls. Now, I did a little bit of research on it as well. There's a couple of reviews out there. I think it's one of them that's on. It's either, I think it's on. It's by Honest Gamers. So just type in Honest Gamers Earnest Evans review. There's actually a bit in that review that they give you almost like a mini guide on how to actually play it, because people never knew how to actually play it properly. So there is a knack to it. Like I couldn't get used to that whip and trying to grab hold of things to swing, and
That was a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
but there's a knack to it.
Dying on with that.
Yeah, there's a knack to
There's
it.
only one bit you actually need to use that on. The rest of it you can skip.
Right. Okay. But I mean, there's little bits, hooks through the level and stuff that you can do. So I'm going to use that guide and give it another go, because I do actually think it's probably worth. Because the other day when I said to you, like, this game, I'm sorry, but I've got nothing good to say about it. That's not as true as it was the other day. I mean, it's not true anymore. I still don't like it, but I think that it's definitely was given a far more bad rep than it was actually than it was given a far worse rep back in the day than it actually is. You know, so, but again, you know, a lot of people that would have played this would have been people that would have been importing back then. So not many people would have got the chance to play it. And those that did play it were generally reviewers from magazines that just went, well, you know what? Yeah, we don't want to play this. So, but no, for what it's worth, you know, yeah, I think it's got some interesting parts to what I've seen. So again, I'm going to give it another go. But the one word that describes this game is just marionette. Sorry, that's exactly what it is. Because when you sometimes the way he ends up going like head first with arms backwards and down the little hole, you're like, how the hell do I keep getting out of this? And it's just, and it does make you laugh.
I just looked at that quack game you said, that quack thing, and it is. You're right. It's very similar. I was just googling it when you were chatting there, and it's like, yeah, actually, you're dead right. It's definitely up there with that. So,
but that's my comments on it. You know, I think if you're, I think it doesn't matter what sort of game you're. If you're a retro gamer, you've got to try it out. I think that's it. And there's no reason why you shouldn't try it out if you can get yourself the ISO and just burn it off. But then a lot of people these days don't have CD players or CD writers. But hey, £8.99 on Amazon can get you a CD writer you can plug into your computer. So there's no reason why not. If you really want to try it, it's there without you having to import the game itself. And like Sean said, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy this game because it's not something that I would.
You have to get a Japanese copy. You have to get a Japanese copy.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. That's the only one you can get. So it's just like, and then you're going to need there's this. You have to be really hardcore into Earnest Evans, I think, to do that. And I think there might be one person on this video that might end up doing just that. I wonder who that could be. And that would be great. I mean, you'll be the only person that I know that's got it if you end up getting it.
Also, I'm not going to brag here, but mine is signed by the voice artist. So, yeah. So I'm not bragging here, but I'm sort of like, it's sort of quite a big deal.
That'll be worth 50p in the future, mate.
Well, yeah.
25.
Yeah, well, I got the CD for free, so it's a bonus, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, but no, one thing I would say also, just adding to that, like. Obviously, if you played this game back in the day, you would have imported it, right? But at the time, when I was playing it, I always try to take myself back with these games because without knowing it, you subconsciously all like go, oh, this is rubbish. But it's because you played a lot of other games, but at the time, you wouldn't have had access to a lot of those games. Like, I always go, this is like an early like PlayStation 1 game or something. But you think, actually... It's a bit like BC Racers. Yeah, it was shocking, but at the time there was nothing else that you could play like that, really, with the movement and things like that. And that's where this game is. There's a lot going on the screen. And again, with the whip, like I said, the frustrating thing for me was when I was trying... I think it might have been the first level, but you go up and you've got to whip over like three things. And seriously, that was doing my head in. I nearly put it off after that and thought, sod it, I'm just gonna say I'll put it on to make sure it works. But
well, before I let John have his say in a second, I'm going to blow all of your minds. You didn't need to use the whip on that bit. You don't need to do any swinging on the first level at all. You can just go left and across some rocks, and you don't need to do it at all.
Right. You see, that's some give more time to play the game. It would be good. I seriously think I would enjoy it more. So like things like that, when you get to learn how the mechanics work and stuff like that, definitely. But yeah, like saying that, actually thinking back now, it was so frustrating. But there was an obvious path that I probably could have just walked past that very easily. So, but
if we'd had my full playthrough going, you'd have been able to see what it was, and in the background. But yeah. Anyway, John, what do you think of it?
You should probably upload your playthrough, as in like, if you just want to do a long play, just throw that onto the internet at some point.
Oh, I was going to do that regardless of whether we had the whole thing on this or not, because it was like about 55 minutes because I did the whole game end to end. So
That'd be helpful, because I will definitely watch that, and then I can go through it and find.
I still died and had to use the level skip to get forward, but.
Yeah, but you've still got that far, so that's
that's true. Yeah, I did get to stage 6
allowed.
before I got game over.
Yeah, I think I got the 3, and that was about. I think I might have even knocked it off rather than dying per se. So, but
I mean, before I'll say my thoughts. So, Retro Martin, did you play the Genesis port of this as well?
I did play it very, very briefly on my 3DS, which is obviously a bit weird, but not extensively enough to really have much of a comment on. I think the game is pretty much the same, just with all the animated cutscenes removed effectively, but and a very dreadful box art as well. It's awful. Don't know what the Americans were thinking, but
well, what was the music all right instead?
Yeah, I think it was pretty similar to the Soul Feast and Soul Deast situation. It's you can tell it's slightly downgraded, but it's very, very similar. But amusingly enough, it's the exact same artist. Motoi Sakuraba's did Soul Feast, and Earnest Evans and El Viento does the Tales of games, does Star Ocean. He does all of these games. He's a very prolific artist, which is why, obviously, as Martin said, the soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. Because he used to be in a prog rock band in the 80s.
Wow.
Sadly enough, I actually have their album.
Link in the chat later. I'll be interested to hear that.
Yeah. No, it is actually really, really good. But yeah, so he's that's why a lot of his newer games go sort of like prog rocky, and even with the Mega CD ones he's done, like Sophie, Earnest Evans, all that, they sound quite prog rocky in places because he's got that background.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, because I never played the Genesis ports, but I remember reading that it had instead of the cutscenes, it was just the text instead, which would make sense for it being a cartridge instead. So, my thoughts. Okay, so the good and the bad. The good, I think that the artwork, not just the anime cutscenes, but also I think the levels themselves, the art of the levels, I think it's fantastic. Like just looking at Martin to that direction, like where you got in the background, and just seeing the artwork of like levels as it goes along, I think they put a lot of detail and care into it, and the fact that there's such a wide variety of levels as well. So I mean, if you haven't got too far into it, you don't really see it yet because it just seems to be like caverns and caves, but there seems to be like a lot of variety that they went for, which because some games can be a bit boring, whereas like a lot of the level style, the designs of them can be very similar, just like different paths to get through. Whereas this, there is, I feel, a lot of different locations, because the idea is that when you're going between levels, you're seeing like you're going around the world doing this adventure. You're on a globe-trotting adventure, and personally, I feel the levels actually reflect that quite well. So, I mean, I don't know if other people agree with that or not, but so for me, yeah, I feel the artwork was fantastic in this game, and it's worth, like I say, even if you don't enjoy the gameplay, seeing like a long play just to see it, just jump through it to see what they did. And as has already been mentioned, the music. I think the music's great, and well, if you don't play through the rest of it, Martin Evesham gamer, then stick the CD into a CD player and just skip the first track and just listen through it, or go on YouTube. There'll be people who have uploaded the OSTs onto there as well. All the Mega CD games, their OSTs are all on there, so you can listen to it that way. And I enjoyed the story as well. Like this is kind of, because the story is actually, I think we covered the story actually. So Earnest Evans is a renowned treasure hunter, and this is set, I think, 1930s it was from memory. So this is like pre-World War II, and you've been hired.
1920s.
1920s. Sorry, you've been hired to go and find like this mysterious relic, I think it was, and then that leads you like around the world, because then you end up dealing with this organization who are trying to also get it for their own evil ends, kind of like Indiana Jones kind of style, you know. But I enjoyed it. So yeah, the story, the art, the music, I think, yeah, great, and I think it should be experienced for that. Gameplay, yeah, janky. So we've all discussed it already, but like the movement is odd. I think it's. I'm not sure if they were trying something, because this is the middle game of a trilogy, but neither the first game nor the third game use this style of movement of, you know, how the player moves and plays. This is unique for this game, so I don't know if they were testing the waters to see if people enjoyed it or not, or if they were just like deliberately trying to make the gameplay different to El Viento, which I've never played. Just put that out there. But oh, okay, now Martin is showing more of it. So, because unless if the devs felt that by having each boy part be its own kind of unique thing, it gives more like animation or more. I'm not going to say control, but yeah, I found to control Ernest did feel a lot more difficult. Like, for example, if you made him like lay down or start rolling, the amount of times like I would roll into an enemy, trying to stand back up so I could like do something, but because just merely touching them, your health bar just starts draining down. There are no you get hit and you get an invincibility frame like some other games. Your health will just keep depleting, and then suddenly next thing you know, you die, but your body ragdolls back until you come like back to life if you've got some continues left. So it just, I don't know, it just, yeah, it was weird to control. It definitely takes a lot of getting used to, and I think anyone does play it, just have the level skip sheet to hand, because when you get through part of the game, unless if you honestly do enjoy the gameplay, then just skip to the level that you got the game over on and just continue there and just continue through with the story. That's my personal opinion. I don't know
Yeah.
if it,
It's not a difficult level skip code to remember either. It's literally up A, down B, left A, right B, and then start, because you pause it first. Sorry, so it's quite intuitive to do, and you'll be skipping it quite easily.
It's just annoying that you have to keep doing it over and over again if you're far into the game. That's the only thing. You can't just skip to the level you want. You have to keep going through each level to get back to where you were. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, do people kind of agree with like the good points and the bad points? I mean,
they're all fair
Yeah, no, I
points.
did. Yeah, the story was really, really good. I mean, obviously, even though it's the second game, it's a prequel to El Viento, so it obviously chronicles when Ernest actually meets Annette.
oh, it's a prequel. Okay.
It's a prequel in terms of story, so he meets Annette halfway through it, which is why he finds her in the
I
temple.
wondered why she suddenly. I knew that was the first game, so I wondered why is she suddenly like, you know, you find
Yeah,
her.
so basically, she's a wind priestess. She's like 14 years old in this one. El Viento set 3 years later, and then I think Annette Futatabi's like 4 years after that. So it sort of shows her aging up as we go. And that's why Ernest is sort of like a side character in El Viento and Annette Futatabi as well. But yeah, basically the bad guy in Earnest Evans is sort of, well, there's a chap called Siegfried Munhausen, I think his name was, if I remember right off the top of my head. He's sort of like an anti-protagonist in the first two games, and then becomes the full-blown antagonist in the third one.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a very batshit crazy sort of story, but it does work, and they do tie it into sort of the era, because Al Capone is actually an enemy in Ernest Evans, because obviously it's set in the 1920s. But they changed his name in El Viento when it was released, and Earnest Evans when it was released in America. So if you play the American versions, it's just some random chap or whatever. So
yeah.
Fascinating. I had no idea that was anything. I knew the games were related. Well, one of them. I hadn't heard of the third one until you mentioned it. But it's great. You got some fantastic knowledge there, Martin, in your head.
Yeah, well, I played the third one quite a bit. I actually sort of forced Mr. Bundy to convert that as well, but it was obviously a lot faster.
Did you force,
So
did you force him at a joypad point?
yeah. So I've played for about 4 stages on that because it is a very difficult game and there's no cheats in it whatsoever. But yeah, so I've also been reading Beep Mega Drive magazine from back in the day, one of the Japanese Mega Drive magazines, and one of the artists they had in Beep was actually doing a manga for El Viento when that came out in early 1991, and I think he got 4 or 5 issues in, and then he had a car accident, so they never actually finished the manga, and it was sort of like set between El Viento and Earnest Evans as well, so it would have sort of tied the two together a little bit more, but unfortunately they never finished it out of respect because he wasn't able to draw anymore. So
Oh, okay. No.
Quite sad.
But
he is alive. He didn't die, thankfully.
okay, well that's something. But,
That's something, yeah.
but also, I am not the only one who is doing a dub of this game, I should add.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that John and I have been doing in the background. I have actually started working on I don't want to say proper because that's really disingenuous to the work that John's done.
You make it sound like I do it professionally.
Okay, I'm doing a semi-professional dub of the game. So I've actually been voicing the characters, I say properly, for lack of a better term. Like I've actually studied a voice recording of Al Capone to do a voice like him for it, and I've recorded about 1/3 of the game so far. I'm just trying to get someone to assist me with the female voices so we can have sort of like a more professional sounding dub of the game, because John's work's been absolutely fantastic. We've actually been able to hear the script and everything else. John, I'm trying to do you a favor.
I know.
Signed.
Yeah, signed, see? Signed by the original. It's like John's the working designs version and mine is the unworking designs version.
I'm not sure how I feel about that comparison, but I mean, just in case if people are curious, how I do it is I pull up on YouTube where someone has put the subtitles for what they're saying, and I hit record Audacity, and then I just say what is playing on YouTube and try and do different voices. But bear in mind, like when YouTube shows the subtitles, might not match when the mouths are moving. So
yeah, I've been a bit more extensive in mine. That I've actually written down the script and roughly what times it occurs at in the videos, and then I've been doing short video clips of it and then trying to time it to the voices. I'm still working on it, but most of the voices fit roughly where they're supposed to. I just need to move the sound effects around a little bit, but it's getting there. It's not going to be a fast process because it's quite slow doing it all on my own. But yeah, so official announcement: Earnest Evans dub. Woo!
So I'll do this with any other future dubs as well, but the Audacity project files, so that where it has the split audio for like the background music, sound effects, everything, and then the voiceover where it's been split so that you can just then mute the original voiceover and add yours in, and then export it as a WAV to put into the game. Those are all on the archive pages with the games. So if people do want to have a stab at doing their own dub, the Audacity project files are there where you could just go down and just, then hit record and speak into a mic. And then, so if people want to have a crack themselves, but I'll do that for future games. It's just a thing I'll include with the game for those who are interested. So, cool. Does anyone have any final thoughts for Earnest Evans?
I think I would go back and replay it after this because I don't think I gave it enough time. But I think I'd definitely watch Martin to the left, as I recall him, left wing Martin. I will follow. I'll watch his gameplay to pick up on a few tips and try and actually, who knows, might even be able to complete it. Probably not, but we'll give it a go.
I'll set it to upload right after this, so it should be up in the next couple of hours with any luck. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, that'll be good. I could watch that tomorrow in the office. So, yeah, I'd definitely go back and replay it. I think replayability on these sort of games. I think I did enjoy it, but I think the fact was it was just I couldn't get. And it sounds stupid, but I couldn't get around the way the thing moved because it looked ridiculous at times. But
you're trying to enjoy it despite the gameplay.
Yeah, I think I tried to. It's sort of another game that comes to mind after watching the gameplay just put in was Vector Man. I don't know if you ever played that on the Mega
Oh
Drive,
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
it's sort of like every limb like is overextended and things like that. So I sort of get what you were saying, that maybe they were trying something, a different moving mechanic or something like that. But yeah, I think I'd definitely go back and play it. I'd definitely recommend it because it's a pretty pleasing game to look at. And like I said, if you're looking at it at the time with other games that are out, rather than sort of comparing it nowadays looking back, then it's going to look bad against other games that you knew came out a few years later on the system. But I
Well,
think
we got to
from a
bear in mind it
standalone,
came out as a launch title in Japan with the Mega CD in
exactly,
1991. So
which is
it
pretty
came out
impressive.
around just after Sonic 1 did. So
Exactly, it's pretty impressive when you put it like that.
Hmm.
And like John touched on with the actual scenery and the level design, there was a lot that went into it. So I can definitely appreciate that. You know,
The
there's a
work that
lot
went
more
into
game
it.
to be played. Yeah, definitely. So
Cool.
I'm just going to echo what Sean said. I'm going to give it more of a go. I'm just really intrigued now in the story of it, the story of Ernest Evans. I'm not going to play the other two games in the series. They don't. Well, I never say never. Never
Hmm.
say never. I might have to have a look at those as well because obviously, as I said before, I first heard of Ernest Evans back when I was quite young, so it intrigued me then. So there still is that child in me that's still slightly intrigued about this game, and and more so now with the history of it. So, and yes, again, I'll watch that video, Martin, when you've uploaded it. But yeah, anyone should give it a go. If you're a retro gamer, you definitely should give it a go. I think that would be my advice.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
agreed.
what's the word, like, gives a great second impression. Is that the phrase, or third impression to use?
Well, considering the fact that my first impression, proper impression, was I don't want to play this. Yeah,
You meant to
I would
snap
agree.
it.
I would agree. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
well, you're not going to miss any of the cutscenes if you use the level skip. So you can basically just completely bin off the actual gameplay, watch a cutscene, level skip, and it will play the next cutscene, and you can do that all the way through, even on the final level. You can just
Right.
completely bin off fighting the final boss, level skip, and watch the ending, which is made up of 3 or 4 separate cutscenes. So if you just want to catch the story, you can just do that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah. Cheers.
Sorry about that. StreamYard decided to give us a bit of a blip there. But yeah, so for the next game we're going to play, we had picked a couple of months ago, because when I thought that I could not get Ernest Evans to ever convert, I looked at what the game we should do next. But before we got around to actually going through that game, then I found underscore GF64. So the next game is going to be drum roll, and it is Wonder Dog, picked by Martin, the Evesham Gamer.
I'm looking forward to playing that one. I'll be honest. Really looking forward to playing that.
yeah, it's going to be good fun, that one.
Sorry, I had this little touch thing on here for the mic, and sometimes I forget I've touched it, and then I start rabbiting off, and the light's not on. Thank goodness there's a light on it. Yeah, I think if you're a platform fan, you will enjoy this one for everyone, because I remember it being very difficult, but it isn't that difficult. It doesn't break any new ground with anything particularly, but it's an interesting platformer. I don't think it. Do you know what? Actually, I think it was on the Amiga CD32 as well, or the Amiga, but it's core design again. I think, if I remember rightly. So it's got that very unique look from that period. I think it was core design. Oh, I should know better because I've always been a big fan of this game. So looking forward to people's views on this one. Not a very well known game. Obviously, that's the reason why we're doing this. Is a lot of it's for games that are not as well known. But and it's not a rare game, but it's not common either. So but I'm really looking forward. I'm really looking forward to this one. Yeah. I don't want to say much more.
No, because we'll cover it. Yeah. So.
Wasn't it on Games Master? I seem to recall one. It was featured on Games Master. Not a challenge, but they certainly reviewed it. I seem to recall.
Ooh, I'll have to go back and watch Games Master again. Then I imagine it'll be one of season 1 or 2 though. It certainly won't be
Yeah.
season 3 because that was the one with Dexter Fletcher.
That's it.
I don't
yeah,
recall it
think
being on that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I,
sure
I was a
it
Games
on.
World kid on Sky One, so I didn't watch Games World stuff.
Traitor.
Yeah.
Traitor. No, you weren't actually. No, you weren't
Hey,
a traitor.
I had satellite. Don't hate me because I had satellite.
You were posher than the rest of us.
No, we were in Germany, and my mum wanted English tellies. She paid through the nose to get it.
That's left wing Martin all over, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
One fun fact about Wonder Dog: there's a level skip code for that as well, so we can always use that to explore the later bits of the game. If we suck at it. It does, but yeah, I think it's got like level skip codes as well.
Okay.
Nice.
Or level select. It's got something where you can explore the latter parts of the game anyway, because I did that to get some footage from it from a later level.
Cool. Okay, so
I'll probably be doing that anyway. So I'll be honest. Thanks to the code, I did it first time.
I didn't know there was a level skip. I don't need it, but that's it was news to me. I knew there was passwords, but I didn't know there was actually a code for it. So that's I'll give that
looking to see if there's cheats is a godsend when you're trying to capture footage. It really is.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So it'd be interesting to see how you guys,
what we think of it.
how you find it, and obviously for anyone that watches that video as well. You know,
I'm just looking forward
play
to
along at
filming
home.
this. I'm looking forward to filming some footage in a boiling hot office in June. So yeah, it seems to be about
When we get around to
what
what you do our next episode.
Deep in summer, yeah, hottest day of the year. So
Perfect time to record episode 3.
yes, exactly. Get a sweat on. So
Well, hopefully we won't have to wait so long this time
No.
due to circumstance and other things. But never say never, as Martin said.
Also, I put a new rule in that if people want to throw on Japanese games that I haven't already converted, or actually generally other region games I haven't converted, that I double check that it's not going to be to get working.
Yeah.
I promise I'm going to pick a bog standard PAL one for my next one. I promise.
You have to pick PAL. It's just like to be fair, I think I showed you the list of American games that are still left to be done.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that the other day. So.
Yeah, well, it's not that big now. It's just more the Japanese ones. So
yeah, well, obviously I sent you that list of stuff we needed to look at as well because you're partway through doing is it Pebble Beach Golf?
Yeah, so that's the one that's looking to do a script translation for. So, which apparently, so the game has been edited so it can have now the English text where it needs to be. But there's also a dictionary in the game, and that part hasn't been worked on yet. So I'm not going to bother working on the main script in case if the files that I have to replace to make the dictionary work ends up overwriting my work. So anyway, yeah. So that's a game for the future, but not necessarily for the wheel. But that will hopefully will get uploaded, and it'll be, I think, the second game to ever be script translated for the Mega CD, because the first one was Captain Tsubasa into Arabic from Japanese.
Was that the one that Seni worked on? Is it
I
Seni?
think so, yeah. No, sorry, you mean Cena. No, he didn't work on that.
Sorry,
one.
yeah.
No, he didn't work on that one, so.
Nah, fair enough.
Sorry. Martin, I think you were going to say something then?
No, I was just kind of going. I thought I could hear Earnest Evans music. I'm thinking, well, I ain't got that on, and then I realised that the speaker was just ever so slightly on. I thought, crikey, this game's now starting to infect my psyche behind. Well, in my subconscious, it's just playing away in there. And it's just because it was on slightly quietly.
If you want to have a little bit of fun with Mr. Evans, by the way, if you crouch and hit the jump button, you'll do that super launch forward that rolls you around loads because you can actually make it happen yourself.
And you might die as a result.
So yeah, you might do, but if you hold back while he's doing it, he does tend to control himself better.
Right. Okay.
He'll get out of it sooner. So there's my little retro Martin tips.
Nice.
Okay, I think we're pretty much then done for this episode at an hour and 29 minutes minus editing.
Yeah.
So my footage would have been just long enough. 1 hour and 28.
Cool. Okay, great. So where can everyone find yourselves? So if we go along the top and down, so Martin.
Where do I find myself?
Well, where can the viewers find you?
Oh, where can the viewers find me? Oh, I do apologise. It must be getting late. I should have had some beers tonight. That's what I should have done, really. You know, but makes me pay more attention. No, you can find me on my channel as the Evesham Gamer. I just abbreviate, call myself Teg. It's just become the norm now. So yeah, just at the Evesham Gamer. I'm around.
Cool. Sean?
I'm at Pompey Games Room. Bit of everything really, retro, a bit of hockey, bit of football, bit of wrestling, bit of everything on there, but mainly sort of 16-bit and sort of up to N64 really. Taking a bit of a break as I touched on. I only put a comment up on my channel today. But yeah, I will be back. It's just I've got to find a bit of not passion for it again. But, well, I did say passion in the post, but I don't know. I've fallen a bit out of love
Healthy
with
to
it,
have a
really,
break from
so.
YouTube.
Yeah, it is because you can't make videos if you're not in, if you're not sort of into it. It's just impossible. So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I'm over there, so I'll be checking in and stuff and still watching people's content. But probably gonna have a good few months off, I'd say. I'll be back in June when we do a new episode. Eh?
It's a healthy thing to do. To have
Yes,
breaks from
exactly.
YouTube, I mean. So cool.
Definitely.
And Martin.
Yeah, so I can be found at the Retro Martin because I couldn't just have normal Retro Martin because someone else was using it. Not that they seem to be doing much. I tend to have all sorts of random videos on there, retro, contemporary. There's been a few PSVR ones because I got one of those a few months ago, so I've been messing around with that. Obviously, my Mega Drive Challenge videos go on there. Recently done Aero the Acrobat 2 on Friday. We did eSwap before that as well. Which was good fun. So yeah, all that stuff's on there for people to enjoy. And then our Overlord, you're up next.
And I am John Bunday, and just John Bunday because when I started, I had no idea what I wanted to call myself, and then I never changed the name. And there is an early video of mine where I'm just sat on the sofa with my phone pointed at me, thinking of random channel names I could potentially have, and never actually picked one. So I'm just John Bunday. So when I put up random videos that aren't gaming related, it's not off brand based on the channel name. So cool, great. And then I sincerely hope it won't be June by the time the next episode comes out. Hopefully it will be a bit sooner than that. But until next time, go and play some Mega CD. It is worth playing, especially now so many more games you can play with it.
You
So,
must play Mega CD.
must play Mega CD.
You will play
That's
Mega
by John
CD.
Bunday.
Compulsory.
That's your homework.
Should we do a giveaway of signed John Bunday merch?
I think people would probably not join in for that. I'll try.
Mega
know.
CD, the whiskey.
Yeah, the
I think I'll
whiskey.
agree.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, PAL converted whiskey.
That's it. Yeah, you can convert
Right.
any whiskey bottle into English text. So all good.
Right. Say goodbye, everyone.
Ciao for now.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
See you
guys.
around.